I know that for most Disney remakes, people are watching a childhood story that's remade into a live action. But when it comes to Lilo and Stitch, as a Hawaiian and as someone who loves Disney, Lilo and Stitch speaks to me. It is one of those movies that is uniquely Hawaiian on a global screen. So yeah, I'm going to approach it a little bit differently. Let's first talk about this individual. This is Chris Kekaniokalani Bright. He is a graduate of Kamehameha Schools. For those who don't know, Kamehameha Schools is an all-Hawaiian school in Hawaii. So yes, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to tell our story, a Hawaiian story. So I'm going to give this review in 3 sections. First, talking about Hanai, a Hawaiian principle that was introduced in this movie, then the music, and then my criticisms. Let's talk about Hanai and what it means, especially as it is related to Lilo and Stitch. Hanai is when a child, for a myriad of reasons, is adopted into a family that was already very close with that original family. In Hawaiian culture, we don't really look at it the same as we would look at adoption in a modern or Western sense. In Hanai situations, the friends or family would have already had a long, close relationship. So they are essentially already ohana. So when something happens, and for whatever reason the parents or original family cannot take care of a child, very often the family who wants to Hanai would adopt them into their family. That's what they were trying to establish in the Lilo and Stitch remake. David and his tutu, or his grandma, side note, her name is not Tutu. Tutu is what we call grandma or grandpa in Hawaii. She has a name, but they just did not establish it in that movie, but it is not Tutu. Anyways, David and his tutu had already informally adopted Nani and Lilo into their family. They for sure would have already been very close friends to the Pelekai family. And when Lilo and Nani's parents passed away, the 2 girls were Hanai into Tutu's family. Now, they tried to establish this relationship in a few ways, like when Tutu takes Lilo to get Stitch, or how Tutu is always checking in on them. And at the end, Mrs. Keikoa has that line where she says, "These issues usually go a lot more smoothly if the family, Hanai or otherwise, was involved." The social workers treat Tutu and David like family, and they are just making it official. The social worker needs to be involved in the remake because they were part of the original. But I will concede that this principle is not really communicated or established very well in the new Lilo and Stitch. But also, it is difficult to grasp if you don't really understand what it means to be Hanai. In most situations like this, where the parents are not part of the picture, this would absolutely be the preferred option. Now, I'm saying this as a Hawaiian whose family has a history of Hanai going back generations. And regardless of whether or not they are blood, they are still family. This isn't a government issue or a CPS issue. It's a family one. And I have to say that Tia Carrere as Mrs. Keikoa is absolutely handling it that way, with respect for the Hanai family. However, this is all essentially undone when we see the picture of Nani and David kissing. Because if I had a Hanai sister, I would never kiss her, because she's my sister. If they truly were Hanai, this picture would be straight from the Alabama neighborhood of Kauai. There are several Hawaiian songs in the movie that are not in the soundtrack or anywhere else. Some are, but not all, and it is kind of frustrating to see that. Thank goodness that Mark Keali'i Ho'omalu is there, and Iam Tongi is too. But the other Hawaiian songs, even though they played a role in the movie, they aren't listed in the soundtrack. They have room for Elvis, but not for Brother Is. Anyways, here they are. Ama Ama is just a playful song about food. There are a lot of those in Hawaii. He aloha e kai ala ai ka ama ama. Ama ama means mullet. The only lyrics we hear are about how much the singer loves to eat mullet and how to cook it. Brother Is sings it in the movie, and he is the best one to listen to. Ola e Pai. This song has been recorded by a few musicians. My favorite is from Makaha Bash 3, when the Makaha sons of Ni'ihau sang it, when Brother Is was the lead singer of the group. This song is about 2 lovers who arrive too early for a meetup. Then there is Hene Hene Kowaka, which is a very common song in Hawaii. Hene Hene Kowaka, Kowale Ale Apaha, He me ama ama ia, for you and I. It's just a fun party song. Historically, it's about 2 Kamehameha students and the chaotic experience of driving in a car, which was new for one of the people in the song. It's very fitting for when Lilo and Stitch are destroying the luau. This song was also recorded by Brother Is, but several artists have their own versions of it. Then there's Hawaiian Roller Coaster. It's the same as the animated Lilo and Stitch, except that this time it's sung by Iam Tongi, who was the American Idol 2023 winner. He did awesome. And he had the Kamehameha School's choir to back him up, just like they did in the animated version. Then we have Aloha Oi. We hear this song 3 times. Lilo introduces it to Stitch with her hula. Nani sings the full first verse in the iconic hammock scene. And I will add that I am of the strong opinion that the hammock scene, as good as it was in the original, is considerably better in the live action. It starts with that ha'aheo that Hawaiians are used to hearing, and the hula motions, they were such wonderful additions. We then also hear Aloha Oi at the end when Nani was rescuing Stitch. Also, this walking underwater with stones to train is a practice that goes back to the old days of Hawaii. There is a very famous picture of a surfer named Ha'akeaulana carrying a 50-pound stone to train. So this actually is very cultural. The music is definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I think they nailed it in the remake. Now the criticisms. Acting is an issue in a lot of Disney remakes. In recent memory, it was an issue in The Little Mermaid and in Snow White, and it's an issue here. There are some characters that either needed more direction or they needed to be recast. They were either changed too much from the original or they lacked direction. I think that there are just too many hands in the pot with direction, and it seems that, especially in the case of these remakes, that actors just sometimes are forced to go as plain as they can. I'm not trying to disrespect the actors because they all have projects where they have been good, but in these Disney live action remakes especially, acting can be an issue. Also, there is way too much going on. They needed to establish David's grandma as Tutu. They have a new antagonist with Jumba. There's Stitch's relationship with Lilo, the social worker issue, character developments. There's just too much that wasn't balanced. It would have been difficult to include everything they wanted to and still tell a good story in the time allotted. But overall, did I like it? Mostly I did, yes. I wish that Jumba would have been better. He was a big part of the heart of the original, and I wish they hadn't changed his character so much. And Jumba in this movie looked mostly like one of those giant Muppets, like Sweetums. But for all its flaws, this movie is so much more Hawaiian, and I appreciate that. I loved hearing them include the Hawaiian songs, even if they were mostly Brother Is songs. And the voice actors from the original were included in this version, which was great. I was really happy to see Tia Carrere, Jason Scott Lee, and especially Amy Hill. Amy Hill is in a lot of Hawaiian roles, and even though she herself isn't Hawaiian, she always has such respect for the characters that she plays. I really love seeing her. So yeah, I liked it, but I can also understand some of the frustrations that people have with it. After all, art is subjective. Realistically, I would probably give it a 6.5 out of 10, but it is a movie that I will for sure rewatch. I've already seen it twice. But what did you think? Have you seen the new Lilo and Stitch? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.